Hello everyone. In this video I explained in detail about the introduction of osteology of the skull. The study of osteology or bony skeleton of head and neck creates the foundation to understand the head and neck region. The skeleton of head and neck includes skull, cervical vertebra and hyoid bone. The skeleton of the head is called skull. Usually we use term skull means it is skull with mandible. If we remove that mandible, without mandible, it is known as the cranium. Otherwise, these two terms, skull and cranium, we use usually synonymously. The first image it is showing that the cranium with mandible, that is skull. Second image it is without mandible, known as the cranium. So skull cap or calvaria or brain box. So it creates the roof of the cranial cavity. Skull cap formed by the frontal, parietal and occipital bones of the superior portions. The functions of the skull. The cranium is a powerful and stiff container for the brain. Together with the cranial and facial bones, it protects and supports the delicate special sense organs for vision, taste, smell, hearing and equilibrium. So that is eyes, nose, oral cavities, ears, etc. The facial bones forms the framework of face and provides supports for the entrance to the digestive and respiratory systems. So that is oral cavity and nose. The cranial bones stabilizes the positions of the brain, blood vessels, lymphatic vessels and nerves through the attachment of the inner surfaces of meninges. So inner portions of the bones, they have attachment with that meninges, that is the brain meninges, dura mater. Through this attachment, it stabilizes the positions of the brain, blood vessels, lymphatic vessels and nerves inside that. The outer surface of the cranial bone provides large areas of attachments for the muscles, thus allowing for the movements. Example, facial muscles. So, movements of the lower jaw which occurs at the temporomandibular joint. So, here this image it is showing the movements of the temporomandibular joint. Through that there is that opening and closing of the mouth. Then the marrow within that skull bones is a site of hematopoiesis. So this image it is showing that bones which are responsible for that hematopoiesis. The bones of the skulls usually grouped into the two categories, cranial bones and facial bones. Usually total 28 bones are there along with the ear ossicles. If you remove that ear ossicles, there are 22 bones are there. The cranial bones are frontal, occipital, sphenoid, ethmoid, parietal, temporal, malleus, incus and stapes. So last parietal, temporal, malleus, incus, stapes are 2 in number. So malleus, incus, stapes known as that ear ossicles. Whereas facial bones, they are 14 in number. Nasal bones, maxillary bones, zygomatic bones, palatine bones and lacrimal bones, they are 2 in number. Inferior nasal concha 2 in number. Mandible and vomer, they are 1. These bones are developed from the second and third branchial arches, also known as pharyngeal arches. So from the pharyngeal arches, all the derivatives of the head and neck develop. So next is the joints of the skull. So most of the joints of the skull of that are immobile. They are known as that fibrous. They are made with the fibrous tissue known as the fibrous joints, also known as sutures. During childhood, these sutures can open up if intracranial tension increases. Whereas in adult, these bones are interlocked and the sutures cannot open up. Whereas in old age, the sutures are gradually obliterated by fusion of the adjoining bones. So this fusion begins on inner surface of the skull between 30 to 40 years of age and outer surface between the 40 to 50 years of age. There are only 3 pairs of synovial joints are present on each side of the head. The largest of it is temporomandibular joint. They are present in between the mandible and temporal bone. It is largest mobile joint. Through this joint, the mouth can open so that usually the activities like eating, laughing, open and close of that mouth takes place. The other 2 synovial joints are 3 in between the 3 bones, that is malleus, incus and stapes. Stapes is the smallest bone in body. Next is the anatomical position of the skull. There are 2 positions, Frankfurt's plane and Reed's baseline. So the Frankfurt's plane and Reed's baseline both are representing from that infraorbital margin on medial side and extend laterally at that external acoustic meatus or auditory meatus. So whereas Frankfurt's line between that infraorbital margin and there is upper margins of the external acoustic meatus. Whereas Reed's baseline, it is a horizontal line joining that infraorbital margin and center of the external auditory meatus. So these 2 anatomical positions starts from infraorbital margin and medial side, whereas Frankfurt's line on this middle of that or upper margin of the external acoustic meatus, whereas Reed's baseline is center of the external acoustic meatus. So structure of skull bone, usually it is having that flat bone of the skull are organized into 2 layers are known as the 2 tables. What is outer table, inner table, compact bone and cancellous bone. So compact bone are known as the outer and inner tables, whereas in middle it is cancellous or spongy bone. So this spongy or cancellous bone is known as the diploe. The outer table is covered by the periosteum, also known as the pericranium, whereas inner table it is lined by the periosteal layer of that dura mater, that is meningeal layer of the brain outer layer. So it is known as the endocranium. So it is having that pericranium outer side, endocranium inner side, in between that cancellous or spongy bone known as diploe. So this cancellous bone, a spongy bone, consists of red bone marrow. So it lies in between the 2 compact bones. So it is helpful for the hemopoiesis. Diploic veins. So the blood from this diploe, that is spongy or cancellous bone, it is emptied by the diploic veins. These are specialized veins of the skull. So usually they are devoid of the valves. Usually valves of the body other than the brain are valves are present, but here these are lack of valves, and these convey that veins draining the scalp. These veins, diploic veins, they drains into the intracranial dural venous sinuses. The diploic veins are 4 in number. Frontal diploic vein, you can see in that image, anterior temporal diploic vein, posterior temporal diploic vein and occipital diploic veins. Study of skull as a whole. To read skull in detail as a whole, there are 3 methods. One is outside of the skull, second is inside of the skull, third is to read in detail about the individual bones. So this outside of the skull is of greater practical importance and utility than knowing the details of individual bones. Outside of the skull is having the there are 5 different views. That is, one superior view known as the norma verticalis, posterior view known as the norma occipitalis, anterior view known as norma frontalis lateral view known as norma lateralis, inferior view known as norma basalis. So the second aspect, I said one is the outside of the skull, second is that the whole skull can be studied from inside or internally after removing of the roof of the skull, that is calvaria or skull cap. So this skull internal surface is read in two aspects. One is the internal surface of cranial vault and second is the internal surface of cranial base, which having that divisions of the anterior, middle and posterior cranial fossas. So first first image it is a skull cap or a calvaria. So inside of this calvaria is having, this is that inner surface of the cranial vault, and internal surface after removing of the brain it is showing like this. So it is having the three parts: anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa and posterior cranial fossa. So internal surface of cranial vault is an ovoid hollow plate of the bone present following features. So we can see that sutures: coronal suture, sagittal suture and lambdoid sutures. The sagittal sulcus. So in the image you can see a longitudinal groove that is known as the sagittal sulcus. It lodges the superior sagittal sinus and you can see some pits. So those known as the granular pits, they lodges the arachnoid granulations. So arachnoid mater is nothing but it is a middle layer of the meninges. Brain covered by the three meninges: outer dura, middle arachnoid and inner pia mater. So in middle layer, that is arachnoid layer, it is having the granulations. So these granulations lies on either sides of the sagittal sulcus. They are more notable in skulls of that old age. Along with that, there are vascular grooves. They are by the terminal branches of middle meningeal vessels. So internal surface of cranial vault having that sulci, that is that prominent sutures and granular pits and vascular grooves. So this is about that introduction of the skull. So upcoming videos I will post in detail about that different views of the skull. Thank you for listening.